가요하니 요하니네 요하니해 가요하니 요.
Sego, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to a special edition of Akwesasne Review. We are your hosts.
I'm Fallon Davis.
I'm Benjamin Hearn, and with us in studio, we have a special guest. We'd like to welcome Ruth Hearn Bell, who is running for St. Regis Mohawk Tribal Chief. Welcome.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
Now, Ruth, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
I was born and raised here, graduated from Salmon. I went to Syracuse to further my education, met my husband while I was down there. We raised our 2 children down there, and we actually raised our 3 grandchildren also. Our grandchildren are now in their 20s, and I decided, okay, it was time to come home. I could retire. I was finished it, so.
Well,
Here I
welcome
am.
back. All right, we're going to do a series of questions, okay? So it's very just nonchalant. Just have a conversation with us. So question
Yeah.
number 1, we wanted to ask, what are some of the issues that face the community of Akwesasne at this time, in your eyes?
Right now, we need to stress our economic development. We need to start to get a better handle on getting income to come into our tribal general fund other than the casino, because we all know the Canadian dollar is not doing that well, and the casino is falling behind on that. So in order to make up that revenue, we need to generate new businesses for our community. And the other thing I'd really like to stress is we have to keep on top of educating our young people. They are our future, and they are the best thing that we need to develop right now. Okay.
So what are some of the ways, that you'd like to do for the youth? Like, what is some strategies that you think could happen if you're elected in the chief position to help our youth today?
The level of education, to me, has started to fall behind. You keep hearing and seeing all over the internet, should we be teaching cursive in school? And I have jokingly said, well, no, let them keep going the way they're going, because pretty soon the old people will have their own language, because the youth won't know how to read our words. And but I'm unhappy that the young people seem, their level of education seems to be declining. Because they're LOLing and OMGing and whatever, and I don't think that is good for them.
There's less conversation and more of the techno,
Yeah.
the technology driven. So.
Exactly. And to me, if you're not taught how to read properly, then you're missing out on a whole lot. I personally, as a young person, that's how I grew up. And how I got to learn as much as I did, because I was able to read, get into my books, and learn about the world.
Right. I have a quick question. Okay, so again, you have really good platforms to this point: education, economic development. Was there any person or any situation in particular that said, you know what, I want to run for chief?
I would have to say that there was not any one particular person. It was a series of events, because I started to get really interested in how we ran the different programs and how we got our money and whatnot, and I would be asking a lot of questions. I was attending those monthly tribal meetings, and I got to a point where I was asking questions, and I felt that council was not giving me answers. And then the more I didn't get my answers, the more I was demanding them.
Oh, kind of pushing the envelope a little bit.
Yes. And I finally had someone who actually said to me, Ruth, you're never going to get your answers unless you sit at the table.
Nice.
So I guess that would have been the person I would have to say really got me
Thinking.
interested in
Yeah.
thinking and running.
Are we keeping that person anonymous?
Yeah,
Okay. Right.
yeah, they're still employed by the tribe. I don't want to get anybody in trouble,
Totally understand.
you know.
Well, I wanted to hit a little bit about what you had platformed about economic development. Similar to the
Yeah.
question that Fallon had asked, what type of initiatives moving forward can you see for the tribe to strengthen our economic development?
Well, Chris Thompson, who
Okay.
is chair of economic development, he and I have had several conversations. We have a little bit of a difference of opinion, where I keep trying to tell him that I feel the tribe is trying to get into our own businesses, and I don't feel that's the way to go. I feel that economic development should be getting all of our people to get in and start their businesses, for them to become the business people, not us.
So maybe
Our
further
job is-
training and, okay, I see what
Yeah,
you're saying.
exactly. For us, we're the government.
Yeah. That's what I was just going to ask you. I actually wanted to pick her brain about that, is that I had wanted to know how you felt about the smaller businesses, you know, that so that our community or our members can start being a little bit more independent and self-sufficient and start
Yes.
growing their minds. Like, okay, well, there's not enough businesses for me to work, so why don't I just create my own business and create my own work? Because if you can't find it, then you have to create it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly, and that's where Chris and I have had several conversations about that, because that's what I want to see happen.
Yeah.
You know, I really would love to see more businesses opening.
Entrepreneurs.
Yes.
Nice.
Yes.
And this is what it's about, is bringing the awareness. I mean, regardless of who gets elected, and we're wishing the very best of luck to everybody, is what can you do in terms of strengthening our community? And that, I think that's kind of a bottom line issue with all of us. But we wanted to kind of turn a little bit more fun now. We heard a little bit about you in terms of where you're from. Now, we want to know, what was the last book you read?
Yeah. You talked about you like to read books. You read books.
You-
we want
you-
to know what was your
you-
last book.
Oh, you guys have put me on the spot. I love Harry Potter's.
Oh, yay!
I've read those books twice.
Nice. That's awesome.
I just love where my imagination can go while I read those books. So,
I'm a little guilty of waiting for the movie to come out.
oh come on,
Don't get me wrong, I'm a really good reader, but it's more forced.
yeah. No, so I actually I love James Patterson. I love John Grisham, but I've read Harry Potter and keep rereading them because
that's pretty amazing.
that's where I really get
It's
to
a
lose
creative
myself.
book as well.
Yeah.
You know, yeah.
All right, well, we'd like to once again thank you for coming on this special edition of Akwesasne Review. Very nice to meet you as
Yay.
well.
Thanks for sharing your time with us.
All right, folks. So don't forget, St. Regis Mohawk Tribe elections June 4th. Okay. Once again, we'd like to thank Ruth Hearn-Bell for coming on our special edition of Akwesasne Review. We are your hosts. I'm Benjamin Hearn,
I'm Fallon Davis.
and we bid you adieu. Ona.
Yo honey hai, ka yo ani yo honey hai, yo honey hai.